I have been really drawn to human design because of its uncanny ability to be remarkably accurate in terms of helping us understand ourselves. And the truth about that is that there's usually two responses that I get from people when I do a reading for them. One is affirming. It's like, wow, yes, exactly. That is exactly right about me. Yes. How did you know that? I'm like, well, it's right here in your chart. But there's this kind of affirmation feeling. Sometimes it has to do with things that maybe you've never either shared with other people or really knew how to articulate before, but in a reading, I'm able to actually articulate it so that it becomes more clear for you. But there's this sense of being seen, being known, often an affirmation of some of things that maybe were rejected in your family or not understood in your family, were never a part of your growing up or your education, or maybe something that your partner or your friends maybe hasn't really gotten about you either. Um, uh, and so there's this deeply kind of satisfying sense of being seen and known and heard that very often arises during a reading. Now, the other thing that happens, kind of the other side of this, is sometimes there can be aspects that are kind of disruptive because they are pointing out things that you may not really resonate with or may not understand, especially initially. I know when I first came to human design, that was in 2012, and I learned I was a generator. I rejected it out of hand because I was like, well, that can't be accurate. What do you mean? I'm not designed to initiate. I've been initiating my entire life. I've designed to respond. What does that even mean? It's a kind of arrogant response, but that was my response at the time. And it wasn't until gosh, I don't know, 7 years, no, not that many years, but 5 years, let's say 5 years later, that I came back to human design and I thought, all right, let me see what this means to be a generator who's designed to respond instead of to initiate. Because I realized I had really kind of fried myself initiating, you know, at different points throughout my life. And I was tired of burning out. But it was very disruptive to my self-concept because it's not at all who I thought myself to be. But I was conditioned to be a manifester, and most of us are conditioned to be manifestors. And so manifestors are only 8% of the population. Most of us are designed to initiate, you know, if it's to be, it's up to me. Go out and make things happen, right? That's how a lot of us are trained. And so it's disruptive to discover, oh, I'm designed to respond to what shows up in my outer reality. I'm not designed to make things happen. And yet, as a generator, I am designed to build. I'm designed to create. I'm a master builder. So it feels a little bit like a paradox, or what my teacher would call a conundrum, right? Because on the one hand, well, how am I a builder if I don't initiate? And how do I learn how to dance so that I know what is coming into my purview and then I can respond to it and then I build? So I'll give you an example right here. So one of the things I did as I've been starting to share more about human design, and I was getting questions from you, and I was wondering, I wonder what my community would be really interested in. And so I put out a survey, right? Because I wanted to know. I was responding to what I was hearing, but also this sense of, oh, I really want to hear from my people. And then when I heard the number one thing you want to know about is how to feel more empowered through human design. And then the second one was, how do I build resiliency in challenging times? Those were the top two responses that I got. I got to respond to that by starting this series. So now every week I'm doing this series. I don't have to ask over and over again. I'm already responding. You're responding to me by registering for the webinar and showing up and asking questions. And then I get to respond to your questions, right? And so it's a very dynamic thing that starts happening between us. But I never understood that before. And so if you are having an experience when you come across certain things in your chart, whether you have a reading or whether you're doing self-study, and you find it confronting to who you understand yourself to be, my invitation to you is to give yourself a chance to just open up the possibility that there might be something different for you to know about yourself that you didn't already know. And one of the things that's happened for me is I've gone back through my life and reviewed and thought about it. I was like, oh, actually, I didn't initiate going to graduate school. I responded to my teachers when I was an undergrad who said, Maggie, it would be really great. Have you thought about going to graduate school? I really encourage you. I had 3 different professors who said that to me. We really encourage you to go to graduate school because you're really gifted in this area. We really think that you'd be great at it. Well, I responded to that. And then, yes, I initiated by applying, but I didn't just initiate. So one of the things you can do is look back, whatever your type is. If you're a generator or manifesting generator, you can look at times when you've responded before and how that worked out for you versus times when you initiated and how that worked out for you. Or if you're a projector, you can be like, how have invitations shown up in my life in subtle or really obvious ways? And how has that worked out for me? How have I danced with things that are in my outer reality so that I'm seeing what is arising in the cosmic energy? What are my guides bringing to me, or spirit or source bringing to me? And how have I danced with that? Or where have I acted like a manifester and really been, okay, I'm going to make this happen? And how did that turn out for you? How much energy did you have to put into that? Or if you're a manifester, how have you sometimes, really sat back and waited for other people to initiate? And how did that work out for you? Or if you went ahead and initiated, but you didn't tell, somebody really close to you what you were going to do, and they got upset with you because they felt like they were left out. Not that you have to ask permission, but, with letting the people in what we call your impact field know what's going on for you, right? Or if you're a reflector, if you've been pressured into making quick decisions, how did that work out for you versus when you've given yourself a lot of spaciousness to make decisions? So this is just a few things about type for you to be checking out, because like I said, when I do readings and what I've heard from people often is there's both the deeply affirming and the, wow, I never saw it that way. That was so helpful for me to get that. And then the other, like, how does that even work in my life? I don't even know. So today, we have a little bit about that in looking at the gate 55.